Welcome to Learn 4 Knowledge. In this video you will learn about the poem, Death the Leveler. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to see new videos. Joseph, can you please come forward and recite the poem, Death the Leveler?
Yes, sir. Death the Leveler by James Shirley. The glories of our blood and state are shadows, not substantial things. There is no armor against fate. Death lays his icy hand on kings. Scepter and crown must tumble down, and in the dust be equal made with the poor crooked scythe and spade. Some men with swords may reap the field, and plant fresh laurels where they kill, but their strong nerves at last must yield. They tame but one another still. Early or late, they stoop to fate, and must give up their murmuring breath, when they, pale captives, creep to death. The garlands wither in your brow. Then boast no more your mighty deeds. Upon death's purple altar now, see where the victim bleeds. Your head must come to the cold tomb. Only the actions of the just smell sweet and blossom in their dust. Thank you.
Very good, Joseph. The settings of the poem. This poem shifts between a number of settings. In the first stanza, we get a glimpse of kindly courts, as well as of the fields of peasants. In the second stanza, we are confronted with a battlefield. In the third stanza, we see an altar of human sacrifice, as well as a graveyard. Summary of the poem. In the first stanza, the poet says that all the great achievements of people in our family or our communities will not matter in the end. There is nothing anyone can do to avoid the calling of fate because man is destined to die. Death comes to kings, as well as farmers. That is why, where they are buried, the vestments and weapons of the king are not superior in any way to farm implements. In the second stanza, the poet says that men with swords often win battles, and get both fame and glory because of that. However, in the end, their courage is nothing in the face of fate. All warriors are overpowered by death and must surrender in defeat at some point of time. They may put up a fight, but in the end they will lose their vigor and move slowly towards the end of their lives. In the last stanza, the poet says that no matter what great deeds man does, his prizes and achievements will not last. One who has been a victor will also turn into a victim in their fight with death. Ultimately, they must sacrifice themselves to this most powerful of deities in his own altar. In the end, they shall be buried under the earth. However, man may die but his actions won't. If one has been just and fair in one's life, then one's action can never be buried. Critical analysis of the poem. The title of Death the Leveler tells us what the poem is about even before we have read the poem. The poem here says that all men are made equal in death, and also that death is an absolute certainty for all men. Poor men die easily because they do not have too many resources. They may die of hunger. They may die because they cannot afford treatment for diseases. Rich men do not have such worries. And yet rich men must also die. If not for anything else, they will certainly die of old age. Hence, death is not something that either rich or poor people can escape. Even great warriors must bow down before fate because man is destined to die. These are the men who kill others in the battlefield and believe it is glorious to do so. But there is no shortage of valiant fighters. One day the same men who had killed hundreds must themselves die. That is why it is said that to be born to die. However, what we must keep in mind is that only the physical body of man is destroyed in death. Man's great deeds live on. If he has been just towards his fellow men, then his deeds will be remembered for centuries after his death. Generations of his offspring will read about him in history books. Man's great deeds will blossom like a fragment flower from the dust where the human body is buried, and these deeds will continue to inspire others who come to inhabit this world after we are long gone. Now I am going to ask you some questions. What does the phrase, victim mean? Who wrote the poem, Death the Leveler? Give the answers of these questions in the comment box. Thank you.